I feel like modern men are a little more feminine than I recall.
Okay.
They definitely are.
I have a dad, so I
Bitch-ass
can relate. I
And he
can
real old school, okay?
differentiate what I feel like a real man is.
What do you consider? You said that modern men is more feminine. What do you think is more feminine? What is that to you?
Well, I feel like when the father is not in the home, he picks up characteristics from the mother. I'm not gonna say everything he do is feminine, no, but I feel like men now, they're more willing to argue with you. They're more willing to combat with you about little things and just certain things that I feel like men that I know don't really do that.
Welcome back to the video, guys. I'm your host, Kingsley Arbrego, and today we're basically going to have a deep dive into masculinity. The video you just saw was a lady talking about how men nowadays are not masculine, which we know, right? It's true. Men nowadays have lost their masculinity, like especially single mother homes. I'm grateful enough to have both a dad and a mom, but most men, most boys, most guys who stay in single mother homes, their masculinity is very, very drastically reduced. It's an issue, to be completely honest. I could sit here and tell you all the statistics about how this happened, like how the more men who are likely to do drugs or go into criminal activities come from single mother home. But that's not what we're here to discuss. What we're here to discuss is how the masculinity, the war against masculinity, and how we as men should reclaim our masculinity. But let's go forward in the video.
A man's loyalty is tested when he has everything, while a woman's loyalty is tested when her man has nothing.
I agree with that 110%. That's valid.
So wouldn't that mean that people are only as loyal as their options?
Oh, you're stressing me out. Yes. Why are you doing this to me? Oh my God, but you're telling me things that I never really thought about.
I'm not telling you what you want to hear, I'm telling you what you need to hear.
My boyfriend just broke up with me. This is everything I need to hear.
Really? What you got with me?
Yeah.
You son of... Now, that was pretty cool, actually. Nice part at the end for him. But one thing I can give props to here, you guys can't see my face, can you? One thing I can give props to, right, is the fact that it's complicated. The channel always knows how to ask good questions. And more than likely, the women never give good answers. They normally try to weave and dodge, try to walk around the whole situation. But it's cool that women now are coming up and they're like making good points about situations that are being presented to them. So if you guys haven't checked out It's Complicated, you guys should really watch his channel. He actually says asks some insightful question that will make you as a guy think. But that's all good now. Let's move on to the next video.
So the question is, should men have the right then not to be fathers? So if a woman gets pregnant and he says, I want to renounce paying child support, would you support that? So he can sign off all of his rights.
And leave it with the mother?
Yeah, because we get the right to get rid of the kid if we want. Shouldn't he have the same right in the name of like equality?
That's a tough one because I guess that would be fair. Because
honestly, it's not a tough one. Sorry for pausing the video. It's really not a tough one. Honestly, it's really not a tough one. If you want to think about it, with all the whole feminism agenda, the whole feminism push out, it's really not a tough one. But that's where what I'm saying comes in. We as men are trying to reclaim our masculinity. So reclaiming our masculinity also means that if we give a seed to a woman and makes her give birth to a child, we need to be masculine and play the role as fathers and not leave the family. Now, you see, this way it gets kind of weird. A few people might disagree with me and be like, since women have the right to get rid of the child, men as well should have the right to opt out of child support. But I don't think that's right because we're trying to reclaim masculinity. If you don't want a child, then have CDs on it, bro. Use a fucking condom. If you don't want a child, use a fucking condom. But once you've put your seed into a woman, you should stay there and become the father. That's how it's meant to be. Catch my drift here. Once you've put a child in that baby, once your seed has been put into that woman, right, you should stay and be a masculine person, be a masculine man, and father the child. That's just
It's the same as the mum giving up the child, but then it's not really in their body, so I don't know how different it is really.
This is real shit.
Yeah.
In New South Wales, right? From January up to May this year, we have had 431 suicides.
What?
431. 3/4 of that, 323.5, 3/4 of it is males.
male.
We're going to have a male die almost 2 times a day this year. And then people want to talk about this fucking toxic masculinity. They want to talk about men are this, men are that. Men in the fucking mines is not looking at oppressing women. They're there working their ass off so they can provide for their women. They can treat their queens well. This toxic masculinity comes from when women try to become men, and it sort of bridges out into society, and that's toxic masculinity.
Amen.
Men themselves.
You see, that's what I'm saying. That's literally the point of this video. The war against masculinity, it's real. Honestly, you see, when you as a person, right, are not in your natural, you're not in your element, it begins to affect you mentally. When you're not in your element, and you as a man, your element is to be masculine. Once you as a man, you're not in your element, you're not in your masculinity, it begins to mess with. That's why you see people jumping off bridges, because the agenda is to fight against masculinity, is to kill the masculinity that a man has. And that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to fight against the agenda that's trying to kill the masculinity of men. And men need to understand that being masculine is the way that you were made. That's the way you were wired. The same way women are supposed to be feminine, that's how you men were wired to be masculine. That thing behind your head that tells you when a woman is about to pass, to open the door, that's your masculinity. Or when you see something heavy, pick it up, that's your masculinity. It's small things. It goes small, it goes big. That thing that makes you pick up the mantle when it's time to lead amongst a bunch of girls, that's your masculinity. But the war against masculinity is real. It's actually so big. It's a big problem right now. Most kids don't even know what masculinity is anymore. They think all masculinity is toxic masculinity. But you need to understand that the war against masculinity is real, and it's out to get us. We've got to stay focused, honestly. Let's proceed.
Are being targeted
For being men.
and they're silently dying.
Men just kill themselves and no one cares. We need to change it. There's no funding for men's mental health, and it's the biggest killer for men between like 21 and 45. And no one talks about it. No one even mentions it, lad. Women talk to each other. There's no stigma on women. They sit around and have a cup of tea.
You're seeing that, yeah? You're seeing that. You're seeing that. That's Blueface and his girlfriend. Now you see, here comes the second part of this whole thing. When men become less masculine, there comes a void. There's a void. There's a void in society, basically. The more men become demasculinized, I don't know if that's like correct English, but the more men get demasculinized, right? There's then a void that needs to be filled out. And guess who is doing the filling? Women. Women start filling that void. You catch my drift. Women start filling the void that has been left by masculine men, gets filled up by feminine women who then take up the role of being masculine. Check out this lady scrapping with a guy, bro. You don't see that so often, bro. Where a going a full out scrap battle with a guy. Because the point has really been made. It's becoming a toxic mindset right now. This whole situation is becoming toxic to the point that females are actually becoming males and males are becoming females. We need to fight against that. We need to get our head straight and get back into our masculinity. That's the end of the video, guys. Hope to see you next time.